Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and also do not forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any video tutorial published by me.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today let us discuss the nerve impulse and its transmission. So we all are already very well versed that the resting membrane potential of a neuron is minus 70 millivolt. And at this stage the neuron is known as being polarized. So today let us understand why inside of a neuron is minus 70 millivolts. So this is a rough diagram of how exactly an axon, a neuronal membrane looks like. The neuronal membrane has voltage gated potassium channels, sodium leaky channels, voltage gated sodium channels, leaky potassium channels, and sodium potassium pump. This red colored structure is sodium potassium pump. And the distribution of ions in the across the membrane is like inside cytosol. It has some phosphate ions which contributes to negative charge inside, and it has some proteins also. So proteins also contributes to the negative charge. So positive charge inside in the cytosol is contributed by potassium ions, and negative charge is contributed by phosphate ions and proteins. Now in the extracellular fluid of neuron, outside the neuron, they have sodium ions which are positively charged, like potassium ion is positively charged. In the same way, it is also sodium ion is also positively charged. And negative charge outside of the membrane is contributed by chloride ions. Even though potassium is inside, which is positively charged, yet still the cytosol of the neuron is minus 70 millivolts. Now let us know the three factors which contributes to the resting membrane potential, which is minus 70 millivolts. The first thing is unequal distribution of ions across the cell membrane. Why it is unequal? Because there are some leaky channels. These are potassium leaky channels and these are sodium leaky channels. Because of the presence of these leaky channels, potassium from the inside of the neuron tends to leak outside of the neuron. And because of the sodium leaky channels, the sodium ion tends to leak inside the neuron. But this potassium leaky channels are more as compared to the sodium leaky channels. That is why more and more positive charge goes outside the neuron. And this is the reason why inside is negative, because positive charge is going outside. So if positive is going outside, that means comparatively inside will be negative. So this is the major factor why inside of a neuron is negative. This is the major factor, not the only factor. There are two other factors because of which inside is negative. Most anions can't leave the cell. These anions, phosphate ions and proteins, these cannot leave the cell. So that is why inside is negative. Apart from this, electrogenic nature of sodium potassium ATPase or sodium potassium pump. Now the neuronal membrane also has sodium potassium pump, and this pump, what this pump do is it uses energy like ATPs, and with the help of ATPs it forces 3 sodium ions outside of the neuron because they leak inside, so they are supposed to be put outside. So this is the function of this pump. It forces out 3 sodium ions outside and brings in 2 potassium ions inside. So that is how the potassium is kept inside. But for this, we have to actually spend some energy. So metabolically, this is demanding process, but it is necessary. So potassium, although it leaks a lot because a lot of capillaries, leaky channels are present, yet the pump keeps the potassium inside and sodium outside. So now if we will compare, three sodium are going out as compared to 2 potassium coming in. Still the difference is 3 minus 1, like 1, there is a difference of 1. So more positive is being forced outside of the neuron than being brought inside the neuron. So that's why inside is negative. So we discussed sodium leaky channels, potassium pump and potassium leaky channels. Now we have voltage gated sodium channels and voltage gated potassium channels as well. So these, as the name indicates, voltage gated, these channels respond in response to the change in the voltage, change in the charge. So we will understand how it goes. So this is for just understanding. While studying transmission of nerve impulse, we will consider only potassium ions and sodium ions. These two factors we will ignore because they contribute less towards the negative charge inside of the neuron. So now let us understand how a nerve impulse is transmitted across a neuron. Now let us understand what happens during nerve impulse transmission and what are the roles of these voltage gated ion channels, leaky channels and sodium potassium pumps and how they act during different phases of nerve impulse transmission. So basically the transmission of nerve impulse depends upon the difference of charge across the membrane. Because initially I just showed you during resting phase the charge inside the neuron is minus 70 millivolt. But during transmission of nerve impulse, the charge across the membrane changes. So we will discuss now how it changes and what happens. So there are basically 4 phases during a transmission of a nerve impulse. The first phase is resting phase. The second phase is depolarization phase. The third phase is repolarization phase. And fourth phase is hyperpolarization phase. So as the name indicates, this is the resting phase as I showed you, minus 70 millivolt, which is, this is the phase when there is no nerve impulse arriving. As soon as the stimulus comes, the membrane becomes depolarized. So depolarization means the membrane becomes positively charged. Now once it has charged, it has become positively charged, then it needs to regain the previous position because stimulus came and stimulus, now there is no stimulus. So that is why now after depolarization, the stimulus will cause the membrane to be depolarized. But once stimulus is gone, now it's time for the membrane to be repolarized. So that during that phase, that particular phase is known as repolarization phase. But after the neuron is repolarized, it doesn't stop at minus 70 millivolts. And the membrane, more and more charge, positively charged, leaves the membrane and the membrane becomes hyperpolarized. So now let us understand all these phases in details and also understand their graph. Now let us understand events of nerve impulse transmission in detail. So resting membrane potential, when there is no stimulus, the membrane potential is minus 70 millivolts. As already said, this is resting phase. Now, when a stimulus arrives, membrane gets depolarized. That is, it becomes positively charged. It happens due to the influx of sodium ions via voltage gated sodium channels. That means sodium gated voltage gated sodium channels open up, due to which sodium comes inside the neuron. When depolarization reaches threshold value, like since it is minus 70 millivolts, now sodium is coming inside, so membrane will become positively charged. So now when the depolarization reaches a threshold value which is minus 55 millivolts, because of influx of sodium, positive sodium ion, now the membrane potential is minus 55 millivolts. So this value is positive and this one is more negative. And more sodium gated channels open up. So once this is the threshold value. Threshold means at least in order for action potential to be generated, the threshold value must be reached. Minus 55 millivolts must be reached. If it doesn't reach this value, then action potential will not generate. Like if a very few sodium ions are coming inside and the membrane potential is reaching like around minus 60 millivolts, right, or minus 65 millivolts, then action potential will not be generated. So it is the generation of action potential is an all or none event. Like if minus 55 millivolts will be achieved, then only action potential will be generated. And it doesn't stop here at minus 55 millivolts. After this threshold is reached, more and more sodium gated channels open up, which leads to the influx of more and more sodium charge inside into the cytosol. More and more sodium will come inside the cytosol, and this is known as generation of action potential. And the phase is known as depolarization phase. And during this phase, the membrane potential may reach up to plus 20 to plus 30 millivolts. Now from negative it has become positive. So this is known as depolarization. After this phase is over, now sodium gated channels will close. And simultaneously voltage gated potassium channels will open up. This will occur simultaneously. And it leads to the efflux of potassium ions. Now earlier sodium ions were coming inside the cell. Now due to the simultaneous opening of potassium channels, potassium charge will go outside the cell. From here, it will go outside the cell. As a result of this, the original membrane potential is restored back to minus 70 millivolts. Why? From plus 20 to plus 20 millivolts to minus 70 millivolts is achieved because K plus is going outside, potassium is going outside, and a positive charge is leaving the cell. So now the cell is supposed to be in minus millivolts. So this is the reason why now the original resting membrane potential is restored. But the process doesn't stop over here. As compared to the voltage gated sodium ion channels, the voltage gated potassium ion channels are slow. They are comparatively slow. So they do not close immediately. I mean, they are very slow to close. So that's why more and more K plus will go outside. So it will keep on going outside. As a result of which the membrane potential doesn't stop at minus 70 millivolts. It finally reaches to minus 90 millivolts. And this phase is known as hyperpolarization phase. So that's how all these phases occur during a nerve impulse transmission. Now let us understand how exactly all these phases look like in a graph. Now let us understand this graph which depicts all the phases of which occur during nerve impulse transmission. So y-axis is depicting membrane potential in millivolts, and x-axis is depicting time in milliseconds. This is minus 70 millivolt, minus 55 millivolts, 0 millivolts, and plus 30 millivolts. Now when a stimulus arises, then as already said, as soon as the stimulus arrives, the membrane gets depolarized. So when this is resting membrane potential minus 70 millivolts, which is in the absence of any stimulus. When stimulus arrives, then the membrane will get depolarized. So threshold membrane potential is how much? It is minus 50 millivolts. After which it reaches up to plus 30 millivolts, and the phase is known as depolarization phase. Now, after depolarization phase is over, as we have already discussed, the repolarization phase arises. So, the membrane potential gradually decreases now. Here it was increasing. The value was going towards positive. Now it will come back to negative. And this particular phase is depicting reversal of polarization. Now, as soon as it reaches minus 70 millivolts, it doesn't stop here, and the membrane gets hyperpolarized because efflux of more and more positive K plus ions. So this is hyperpolarizing phase. So that's all about the graph. How will a graph of all those events will look like? Now let me tell you this important term, refractive period. It is a time period after onset of once an action potential has been generated due to one stimulus. That time another excitation cannot occur. Like the time period after onset of action potential during which an excitable cell cannot generate another action potential. That time is reserved for only one action potential. So this period during which another stimulus cannot cause another action potential is known as refractive period. One more thing I would like to tell you that most of the sodium gated ion channels and potassium gated ion channels are located at axon, at initial segment and axon hillock area, the trigger zone, and throughout the entire axon. Most of the sodium gated and potassium gated channels are located over there. So that's all about transmission of a nerve impulse.